is a living lab for the future. People come here from all over the world and exchange their research and ideas. Yes and is a way to share their inspiring stories so that we can build a more awakened world together.
Thank you, Vide, for being here with us today for our Yes and.
My name is Daniel Wesley Whetung.
It's a great pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
A medicine man.
Yeah, I'm not a medicine woman, that's for sure.
Definitely not. And it wasn't easy to become a medicine man.
No, never is.
Would you like to share a little bit about your journey to become who you are today?
Okay, I'll start near the end. I am a white swan shaman. And in order to be a white swan shaman, a person has to be spiritually as flexible as a swan's neck. And in this day and age when people are very rigid about sacred things or spiritual things or whatever, it's very difficult to become spiritually flexible in order to succeed going through the rites of passage, in order to get permission to use that white swan medicine.
And I know you have quite an incredible story how you went to look for this permission.
The first time I went, I spent 18 months in the bush. And I started out in the fall on a nice warm day. I was told I could take an axe, a knife, and a means of making fire. And I figured, okay, well, I'm going to go get some permission and I'll be back in about 10 days, because there's 3 things that have to happen. I have to have 3 dreams about some spirit being. And then while I'm walking, I'm going to have 3 visions during the time I'm walking. And then the 4th or the 3rd thing that has to happen, I have to meet this guy, this spirit being.
Meaning that it has to manifest physically on the physical plane.
I don't know whether, I can't tell you that. I know I met it and it seemed like a real physical thing, but I can't tell you whether it's in this here and now, in the spirit world, or in no man's land in between. But I do know that it was real at the time for me, and it was real for the spirit being that I was. And we were wrestling to see who would just sort of surrender to the other person. Or the other, I guess he's a person. It's interesting because he doesn't look like a human person. Was one of the most beautiful creatures you could imagine, because of the swirling energy light that goes up and down and around, and all the sparkling stars, wherever those little waves cross, there's a light goes ping, 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 and this being is floating around there, and we're wrestling. He wants me to become one of them, and I'm wanting him to give me permission, or the Great Spirit, or. And I know if I give up at the wrong time, I'm not going to come back and see my family and friends again. And so I couldn't do that. Well, I figured, okay, this is only going to happen. It'll take maybe 5-10 days. I didn't dress very warm. As a matter of fact, I think I'm dressed warmer today than I was that day. One winter, falls, or I went in the fall, went around the winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, and then back the next spring I came out. And in that place, it's known to get about minus 40 degrees sometimes in the wintertime.
It's the land that we call Canada, right?
Parts of Canada don't get that cold, but where I was does. And some places in Canada it gets colder than that. But I was lucky if it did get down below 35, minus 35 below, but and they said, oh yeah, another thing they said when I was learning, you can't sleep in the same place twice in a row.
So if you do that for 10 days, it's okay, but if you do it for 18 months, it's quite a lot of moving around.
Yeah, so after a while I decided I can build a bed over there and another one over here, and I can move back and forth and sleep in a different bed each night. Took me a long time to figure out why it took so long to get that done. Once I did, and I shut down that voice, I was talking to myself. They said you can't talk to any human being. And as long as I was talking to myself in that internal mind chatter, I wasn't going to get that vision. I wasn't going to have those vision dreams. Nothing happened except I got cold and almost froze. I got hungry and almost starved. But I managed to survive. And at the end of it, when I shut down the noise inside my head, everything happened and I was out of the bush. With permission for my first medicine bundle. Since then I've been through that bush, or a different one, similar, but I've done the similar travel 26 times. None of them took 18 months after that. I'm determined not to spend that much time at once in the bush. So I've got permission to use 27 different kinds of medicines. Plants, animals, rocks, fire, water.
How do you determine what is the right medicine for a person that comes to you for a healing?
Well, first of all, I use all my medicines. And I never work on anybody. I only work with them. They let me know what kind of medicine they can accept, what kind of a healing they can accept. And I've got these friends in high places. I call upon them, they come down, and sometimes miracles happen. And they tell me what kind of medicine this person needs, how to deal with it. And if the person can accept that, we talk it over and we do what we can. Like I say, sometimes miracles happen.
You were describing before a very intense and profound rite of passage. In our society now, we do not have many rites of passage. Do you think it would be important to reestablish this as a way for people to take responsibility, to become adults, to really also face their fears and find their strength?
Yes, it's important in many ways, and you've put a very nice face on it when you said rites of passage to become adults, because we have many children that are 20, 25, 30 years old still living with mom and dad or granny, and they've never gone through the rites of passage to allow them the freedom to be adults. And others, they go through this horrible rebellion thing and they fight for their freedom. So yeah, I think it would be nice if we reinstated the rites of passage to become an adult, to be accepted as an adult. And an adult is somebody that's responsible, and they've made a commitment to be responsible. So that's part of the rites of passage. We should reinstate the rites of passage for the shaman, the strega, the whoever that wants to do this spiritual work or plant medicine or crystal medicine, whatever it happens to be. Crystals are people. Plants are people. And the crystals, the rocks, the plants, they're my friends. They're my family. They're the children of our Mother, the Earth. That makes me as one of the children of Mother Earth, their brother or their sister. I look at the whole world in a unique sense. I figure that in this world we can borrow, we have to be able to borrow things without asking. But if we don't have any intention of bringing it back, then we're stealing it. And there's laws against stealing. So we think about this earth, how beautiful it is, how wonderful it was 200 years ago, 100 years ago. When I was a child, we used to go down to the lake with a pail of water, or a pail for water, and we'd dip it right out of the lake, take it home and drink it. Straight, untreated. Now there's a sign where I used to go get that water that says, swim at your own risk due to the pollution levels. That isn't right. We've borrowed this earth, our Mother the Earth, where everything we get from it, the clothes, our food, our cell phones, everything comes from our Mother the Earth. And we're borrowing it from those children that are 7 generations in the future yet unborn. How many people can talk to those kids out there? and say, hey, can I borrow this? No, not very many. If you borrow it, you got to give it back in as good as, if not better condition than what it was when you got it. Since we're polluting it and destroying it of the earth, we're actually stealing from our grandchildren. Our descendants, we're robbing them of their birthright. When they're born, they have a right to have a good, clean earth to live in. And we just don't seem to care about providing that for them as a general basis across humanity, you know. There's places like Damanhur or different in various places where people are doing their best to kind of minimize the negative impact they have on the earth. All over. We've got different places, different pockets of places where people are trying. But when you amount those few thousands against the 7 or 8 billion people that live on the face of the earth, we don't have much of a positive impact. How do we win that battle?
How do we win that battle?
I can't say that now. At this point, winning that battle seems to be fluid. And as long as it's fluid and moving, it's going to change a little bit. I would like to say I have a solid way of winning it. But I don't any more than you do. You have your feelings and your heart in it, but we're not quite there yet where we can actually say, we're going to win. We're still getting ready to do the battle. We're going to be up against some very, very powerful people and entities. They're corporate structures. And the multinational corporation have citizenship in countries, but they have no heart. There's no humanity in them. The corporation has no feelings, no heart.
I wonder if you would like to share some sounds from your language and your medicine to help everyone that's watching this now feel uplifted and more ready to prepare for this time that they're coming.
Okay, I'll sing a song. This song really hasn't got any words to it. It's a spiritual communication with that higher power, that higher self, those higher planes. And it's indicating, it means like this: look at me, see my tears, hear my cry. They say the things that words cannot express. Hwe ha ho he, hwe ha ho he, ha we ho he, ha we ho he, hwe ha ho he, hwe ha ho he, ha we ho he, ha we ho he. Hwe ha ho he, hwe ha ho he, ha we ho he, ha we ho he. Sometimes we feel so happy and all we can do is cry. And sometimes we feel so sad we can only cry. Look at these tears, hear these cries. They say the things that my heart can't put into words. And so you sing it from the heart, sing it from your stomach. You put the passion and the fire in it. And yeah, we will win.
I know you also have a project to start teaching.
Yeah, I have plans of building a school to teach the things that I've learned. I've got the land. I got the curriculum. I haven't got the building to house the people. I can't make a commitment to more than 4 people a year. And it's a 4-year university level degree course, similar to a doctorate degree in either plants or crystals or sweat lodges, eagle medicine or whatever. If they finally make it through the rites of passage to be called one of them. But they'd have the knowledge. Maybe a pipe carrier. That's easy, but they might become a pipe holder. There's so many different types of medicines that I know I want to put it in people's hands so that it isn't lost. The songs and the dances, the fire and the water, like, fire on one hand and water on the other hand, if they're not in proper balance, human life as we know it can't exist. Water rules 86% of your body and fire controls you another 10%. We've almost got you covered with just those two spiritual elements.
You are the founder of the Rainbow Sweat Lodge.
The Rainbow Lodge.
And also the Rainbow Dance. And what is the philosophy behind them? Because you've been pretty radical with that.
Oh, yeah. For a long time, the American Indian movement was running around saying some vicious things about how the white people were stealing our ceremonies, our sacred ways. And yeah, I guess they were, but not really. The difference between secret and sacred is if you have a secret, two people can keep it as long as one of them's dead.
Right.
But if it's sacred and you share it in that sacred way, then it grows stronger. And when the American Indian movement was saying, these are Native American ceremonies, and if you're not Native, you're not welcome. But they were still allowing people to come to the Sundance, dig the holes for the toilets, and do all the heavy work. And then when it had come time to dance, I'd say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not welcome, goodbye. And that was abuse, misuse. It was not healthy for me. And when I heard these people come out in Vancouver, they were going to do a Yuipi ceremony in there. They came out and they said, these are Native American ceremonies, and if you're not Native, you're not welcome. They didn't offer to give back the $300 a person that the people had paid to come in. So I turned around and I left. I got home and I said, my lodge, my sweat lodge that I pour water in is a Rainbow Lodge. It's for those people of mixed breeds, mixed nations, because there are no purebred anythings left in the world. There are no purebred Native Americans. There might be 9/10 or something like that, but still they're not purebred. There hasn't been a purebred Native in North America since the priests come, because you know what they did to us all. So this is the Rainbow Lodge for anybody that wants to pray in this way can come and share that experience. We have a rainbow dance on Salt Spring Island in British Columbia, Canada. We've been doing that thing since about 1991. We fast for 4 days, dance for the last 24 hours of that 4-day fast. Start about noon, we go into the sweat lodge, and then we come out of the sweat lodge, change into our dancing regalia, go up the hill to the arbor where we dance. We use a live tree. We hang flags in it, and those flags have been saved and sewed together every year, and they're hung on the arbor. And now our history of all the dancers, all the people that spent time sewing those flags, it's all in there, and you can tell the different people that sewed them because of the way the stitches are, That's our history. It's just an amazing treasure of spiritual journeys. The people that have danced with me and around me, and it's come a long way. It's beautiful. The people are happy. I see the spirits come in, the prayer readers, they'll come down that living tree. And I have made a commitment to be there every year, like here in Damanhur, providing the people here want me back and are prepared to help me get here. What I found when I first came here, I found a bunch of people that opened their arms, their house, their homes, and they welcomed me. The way the people are working to advance technology for healing, for maybe making the world a little better place, it's amazing. And when you walk into the temples, like I did the first time I was here, the spiritual home, suddenly I'm walking home. I'm home spiritually. There's no place else in this world that I've been, where there's such a strong social, spiritual presence as in Damanhur. Thank you.
Thank you.